I am here to talk to you today about business, and my name's Kate Pieper. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and I have a practice in Northern California, and I also run a nonprofit counseling center, counseling group. And I wanted to talk to you today about business betrayal. And business betrayal is something that, unfortunately, I've been a therapist here for about 25 years. And I think business betrayal is something that is common, all too common. And it's something that I had to get used to and actually prepare myself for and actually develop some resiliency around, which resiliency is one of my go-tos. I work with a lot of first responders and do critical incident stress debriefings and blah, 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 blah. But I think the first time that I encountered business betrayal was from a supervisor. You're going to encounter business betrayal from a variety of people. It's just part of doing business. And unfortunately, the research shows that licensed marriage family therapists and people in the mental health field, we believe the best about people. That's something that we are just designed to do. We believe that people can learn and people can grow and people can change. And we also project onto people that, like, if we're a trustworthy, loyal person who's full of integrity, that the people that we're working with, of course, are the same way. Yes, don't we wish? Don't we wish? So, one of the first things that I want to encourage you to do, and I'm going to glance at my notes periodically because one of the first things that I would encourage you to do is I would encourage you to define your north. Define who you are. For me, I'm kind, fun, well balanced, and loving. And that's who I am. And that's who I'm going to be, regardless of who you are in my world. Maybe the kind thing is to like scoot you out of my business life. But maybe the kind thing is to sit down and talk to you and actually say, hey, this came back to me through this therapist or through this organization. And when betrayal happens to you, it can happen to you by somebody not doing your books. It can happen to you by somebody that you've hired to do your billing, not doing your billing. But it can also happen to you by somebody that you think is a trusted colleague, and then you find out from someone else that they're talking smack about you. And that can happen. It's going to happen. So I'm going to give you a few points of what I've learned to do around that. First of all, have your tribe around you at all times. Joe is excellent about having her tribe around her. I am learning to have my tribe around me. I have my inner circle people who are loyal, 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 and who have all of my secrets and would have my back in a heartbeat. So then when you think about concentric circles of people in your circle and then people on the outs of your circle, like you have your best friends and then you have your friends, your close friends, and then you have your good friends, and then you have your friends, and then you have your acquaintances, and then you have your frenemies. And in the business world, it's the same thing. You have people who are going to be people that you have in your community who you're going to know that they're frenemies. And I'm going to encourage you that when you find out about somebody talking smack about you or somebody doing something behind your back, that the first thing that you would do is you would discuss that with them straight up. And you would find out the details from them. I had a principal of a school one time say, oh, well, Kate Piper has said blah, 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 blah about our school. And I simply called him, and I got permission from the person who had disclosed the information to me. And I called him and I said, "Hey, Mr. So and so, this is Kate Pieper. I'm a licensed marriage family therapist, and I have permission to call you and to talk to you about what was said." So I always de-triangle, and I would encourage you to de-triangle and take it to that person. And even before you take it to that person, assume the best. Our brains assume the worst. We go to horrific things that are going to happen because because somebody badmouthed us. And maybe those horrible things will happen. Maybe it'll be a Yelp review that you can't get off, or it'll be something that is told by a reliable source to an agency that costs you a lot of money. It could happen. It's happened. And what I want to encourage you to do is decide, like, what's your north? Who are you? Stephen Stosny talks about in his Betrayal of Love and Money, Living Beyond Love and Money Betrayal, he talks about having a resilient identity. And that every time you think about that betrayal, you think about, you replace it with that image of who you are. I'm kind, fun, loving, well-balanced. So do I want to engage with this betrayal? Do I want to gnaw on it forever? Or do I want to live out my resilient identity of kind, fun, loving, well-balanced? The other thing that I think about is, I think Eric Greitens in his book Resiliency talks about that great calamity met with great spirit produces great strength. And when we're betrayed in our businesses, we have an opportunity to meet it and allow it to change us. Allow it to change maybe our systems. Maybe we're going to move somebody from close friend out to frenemy. Maybe we're going to hire differently. What is it? Quick to fire, slow to hire? Yeah, maybe that's what we're going to do. But allow it to grow you. Allow it to, don't waste the opportunity to allow it to change your business and grow you. And then the last thing that I want to encourage you to maybe look at is Jocko Willink in his book Extreme Ownership. Really kind of got in my face, because he talks about, like, you need to trust your gut. And if you thought something was going down in your business and you didn't pay attention to it and you didn't address it, guess what? The buck stops here, lady. And Jocko Willink is a Navy SEAL, and his podcast, anyway, his book Extreme Ownership is just like in your face with, if you're going to be an entrepreneur, the business is your business, and extreme ownership means somehow you ignoring and not trusting your gut and not addressing things that are going on. The buck stops with you. So I just wanted to encourage you today, because I know poo happens, and I know that it can change and it can grow you, and you can become a wonderful entrepreneur just like Joe is. And if you have any questions, send them to Joe, not me, because I am just a simple businesswoman trying to make my best of it. I hope this has been helpful, and I wish you all a good night.